Welcome back to Name Me 90s Minute. Every week we look back at a culturally relevant show, movie, or piece of pop culture that probably helps stoke the algorithm. This week, in honor of Season 3 of Chucky airing, we're looking back at the first 90s installment of the franchise, Child's Play 2. Child's Play 2 is a 1990 slasher film starring the kid from the first one, the Gemini killer from The Exorcist 3 as the voice of Chucky, Harper Tracy from ER, Nurse Alex Price from An American Werewolf in London, Sarah Palmer from Twin Peaks, Grace Lee from Jericho, and Richard Fish from Ally McBeal. The story starts 2 years after the first film, with the company that makes the good guy dolls recovering from their negative publicity Chucky gave them, and reassemble him to prove to the stockholders that there's nothing actually wrong with the doll. During the process, a power surge kills the assembly line worker putting him together, but the company's executive decides to cover up the death and throws out Chucky, not realizing that he's been revived. Meanwhile, Andy, the kid from the first film, is in foster care after his mother was institutionalized due to corroborating her son's story about the killer Chucky doll. His new family also comes with a new street-smart teenage foster sister named Kyle. Chucky figures out where Andy is living and smuggles himself in there by replacing a good guy doll with himself in the packaging and burying the doll in the yard. Chucky ties Andy to his bed and attempts to switch bodies with him, but Kyle enters the room before he completes the process. But neither Kyle or the foster parents believe Andy about Chucky's return, but they throw Chucky in the basement and Kyle gets blamed for upsetting Andy. The next day at school, Chucky defaces Andy's homework, so he ends up getting detention while Chucky kills his teacher. Andy runs home to tell his foster dad about Chucky, who still doesn't believe him and thinks about returning Andy to the foster store. That night, Andy sneaks into the basement to destroy Chucky with an electric knife, but struggles to beat Chucky, and foster dad comes in to check out the commotion and trips over Chucky and breaks his neck. Foster mom blames Andy for foster dad's death and returns him to the foster store. Kyle throws Chucky in the garbage and then finds the original doll buried outside, realizing that Andy was telling the truth the whole time, so she runs inside to tell foster mom, only to find that Chucky murdered her. Chucky then forces Kyle to drive him to the foster store at knife point, where he captures Andy and takes him to the toy factory so he can finish swapping bodies. He attempts to finish the voodoo ritual, but discovers that he has been in the doll's body too long and can no longer swap, so instead he tries to kill Andy and Kyle. After like 3 fake out deaths, they manage to inflate his head and explode it, and the foster siblings leave the factory. And that's Child's Play 2 in a Name Me 90s Minute. More or less. Join us again next Tuesday for another Name Me 90s Minute. Remember, you can always hear these a day early in full episodes of Name Me 90s on all major podcasting platforms, and most of the small ones too. Please subscribe and do all the other YouTube things, bell ringing, share like a scribes, that sort of stuff, and we'll catch you next time.